All right, folks, I am Tom Downey. You can follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney, and I'm back now with my latest NFL mock draft. Volume 3 here. We'll break it down 1-32, and Cowboys, Saints, and Bears fans, don't worry. I have a pick for you guys as well if you don't have a first-round pick. So we'll break this down 1-32 reveal style, starting off with the number 1 overall pick, at least for now. The Arizona Cardinals have that selection. Now, I believe that Nick Bosa is the top prospect in this year's class. Apologies to others that we'll get to here in just a little bit. But the Cardinals have needs everywhere. I will not be surprised if the Cardinals trade down. That makes a ton of sense for them. Slide down in the draft, get some more draft picks, trade up or trade down with a team that wants a pass rusher, or even a team that wants a quarterback, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But if the Cardinals stand pat, even though Quinnen Williams is also a really, really good prospect, I think they'll end up taking Nick Bosa with the number 1 overall spot. All right, from number 1, we'll head now to number 2 on our mock draft here. The 49ers have this selection. I've got them taking Josh Allen. Now, I really like Quinnen Williams, the player, but Josh Allen is a way more logical fit for the 49ers. If you're the 49ers, you already have DeForest Buckner, you have Solomon Thomas, at least for now, you have Eric Armstead. You can't take another interior defensive lineman. You need a guy that can rush the passer. And guess what? That is what Josh Allen does. An incredible year this year for Kentucky, 21.5 tackles for loss and 17 sacks. That's production when every team Kentucky faced knew they had to worry about Josh Allen. Now, a trade down makes a ton of sense for the 49ers. That's why you'll hear leaks about Dwayne Haskins in this range to a team like maybe the Raiders to help drum up interest in a trade down. I got Josh Allen going number 2. He wants to go number 1 overall, although I don't know if it'll actually happen. All right, number 3, Quinnen Williams of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Been very disruptive this year, had a real breakout year as a redshirt sophomore. Now, I don't know if the Jets really need more interior defensive linemen, but it's not quite as deep as the 49ers. And this actually could be a scenario where you take Quinnen Williams and maybe even trade Leonard Williams. And the Jets, I think, will have a new defensive scheme. I would not be surprised if they move to a 4-3 scheme, so maybe it makes more sense there to have Quintin and the other one together on the interior. Had a fantastic year for Alabama, is super disruptive. He is going to draw some number 1 overall pick consideration. If it's not Quintin, I think a pure edge rusher also makes sense. Also for the Jets, I don't know if we'll end up going this early, but I think Jonah Williams is also a potential target here for New York. At number 4, the Oakland Raiders, and they got to get themselves a pass rusher. They would love Bosa or Josh Allen. In this mock, they're both off the board. So how about Clelin Ferrell? And I love this kid. Now, he's not going to test in the same way that I think Nick Bosa will. Heck, even Josh Allen or Rashawn Gary will. But the production speaks for itself. This is an incredibly talented player. Could have been a first-rounder last year. Came back. The production has always been there for Ferrell. I am all aboard taking him in the top 5. He had one really, really good rep against Jonah Williams from that championship game where he just manhandled a future first-round pick. He'd be a good fit for the Oakland Raiders. That 4th overall pick, if I'm Oakland, if it's not a quarterback, which I don't think it'll be, it has got to be an edge rusher at number 4 overall. All right, number 5, I've got Greedy Williams going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also considered an offensive lineman. I don't think there's a safety really worth taking here. So give me Greedy. The Bucs, I know, drafted 2 cornerbacks last year, Carlton Davis and MJ Stewart. But those guys aren't legit number 1 guys. And Vernon Hargreaves has had issues the past couple of years. And the veteran is not going to return either, Brent Grimes. You need another outside guy. And Greedy Williams, who might end up measuring more like 6'2 than 6'3, but that's what he's listed at. So all those heights and weights are the program weights. So keep those in mind. Greedy Williams, he's good. He's a very talented player. He will break a pass. I thought he was better last year than he was this year, but he knows how to make plays. I like Greedy Williams a lot. I think he'll be an early first-round pick. Teams are going to fall in love with him. There's very much some Jalen Ramsey in both the good and the bad on that. And so Greedy Williams there checks in at number 5 overall to me. Also watch out for an offensive tackle, especially the Bucs don't bring back Donovan Smith. All right, so to recap those first 5 picks, folks: Nick Bosa, Josh Allen, Quinnen Williams, Clelin Ferrell, and Greedy Williams. Now, reminder, folks, we do have our mailbag coming up here in a little bit. So get your NFL questions in the comment section. Use the hashtag NFL to have your questions featured live on the show. That's coming up in a little bit. So use hashtag NFL and get those questions in. Anything you want. It can be draft stuff, free agency, playoffs, rumors, news, whatever you guys want. Just get it in there, and don't forget to use that hashtag NFL to have your questions featured. All right, folks, we'll make it now to moving along here on our NFL mock draft. We'll move to number 6 on my mock draft. I've got Dwayne Haskins, who I will not be surprised if he goes like number 2 overall because the team trades up to get him. But no trade projected quite yet. Let me know if you want him next time. I got Haskins going number 6 overall. The Giants need a quarterback. They absolutely need to get one, and they need to get one this year if they like Dwayne Haskins. Now, if they miss out on Haskins, you might just be better off waiting because I don't really love the other guys out here. I know he only has 1 year as a starting quarterback, and he definitely does need some work, but I like a lot of what I've seen out of Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State. Yeah, there are some checkdowns that he needs to get to, needs to work through, and can work on accuracy in general, but I like Haskins quite a bit. I think he's going to be a really good player in the NFL, needs some time to develop, but I think New York is a good fit for Haskins. You can have him sit a year behind Eli Manning, sit a half year behind Eli Manning. I think that works out very well as a fit for the New York Giants. So which team will draft Dwayne Haskins? Let me know in the comments section. Look, I think it's going to be the Giants. I think they make a lot of sense. I'm not even going to rule out a trade up for New York. Beyond them, the Jaguars make sense, the Broncos, and I think the Dolphins also could be options. At number 7, another quarterback. Drew Locke goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I think Denver makes a lot of sense if he slides. If he doesn't, Jacksonville is a good fit there. Now remember, Tom Coughlin is a Bill Parcells disciple, and there are the rules that Parcells had for drafting the quarterback, and Drew Locke fits those better than Dwayne Haskins does. He has more experience, maybe not the same production or upside, and frankly, Drew Locke reminds me in many ways of Derek Carr. And Locke struggled, I thought, in a good part of the early portion of the year, and then things started to turn around in that Florida game. He got going. It was a new scheme under Derek Dooley. I think Locke kind of figured it out later on in the year. So there's some risk and some upside here, but for me, Locke is my number 2 quarterback in what otherwise is a very down quarterback draft class this year. It's just not that good. All right, number 8, Brian Burns, the edge rusher out of Florida State to the Detroit Lions. I assume they're going to lose Ziggy Ansah. They need some more pass rushers, and Burns can fit that role. He's got the length and the size and the speed. The size, he does need to bulk up a little bit. 6'5", 235. That's like inside linebacker weight. He can put on 15, 20 pounds, I think. I think he'd be a good fit for the Lions as that edge rusher. Good production this year out of Florida State. So I like Brian Burns quite a bit. It's a very good edge class, especially for those top couple picks. And Burns, I will not be surprised if he ends up being a top 10 pick in this year's draft class. Keep it rolling now with some more picks. Number 9, Ed Oliver to the Buffalo Bills. I strongly considered Jonah Williams here because the Bills definitely need some offensive line help. But the value here is really good for Ed Oliver. And at one point, he was going to slide out of my top 10, and I changed my mind because the issue for Ed Oliver and why he might slide a little bit is that I think Quinnen Williams goes before him. Ed Oliver, who's listed at 292, I think played more around 280, 285. I don't think he can be anything but a 3 technique. Maybe a 5 technique, but teams don't draft him that high. Now, he's going to be a damn good 3 technique, but the Bucs might not need one, assuming they move to a 3-4 scheme. The Raiders don't. The Giants, I don't think they really need one right there. I think they'll stick in their 3-4 scheme. The Jags could, but they got other bigger needs there. The Lions don't. They have enough defensive linemen. And then it's the Broncos, the Bengals, the Packers, the Dolphins. So if Ed Oliver doesn't go in the first couple picks, he might slide a little bit, but make no mistake, that's just a fit scheme thing, not a talent thing. Ed Oliver is a damn good player. All right, number 10, the last of the top 10 picks. I've got Byron Murphy. I call him Denzel Ward West. That's who Byron Murphy is. Now, not everyone loves him. I love this kid. He is going to make a ton of plays in the NFL. Look, Denzel Ward 2.0 as far as I'm concerned. Not the biggest guy, but he's fast. He's pretty technically sound. And Denver definitely needs a quarterback. I think if Drew Locke's on the board, that would be the pick for Denver as we sit right now here, in early January. So obviously everything's going to change by the time it gets to actual April. But I think with the uncertainty around the Denver Broncos cornerback room, Bradley's a free agent. Tremaine Brock's a free agent. Who knows how much longer Chris Harris will be there? I've heard some buzz about that. So if Denver does miss out on those guys or loses those guys, Byron Murphy makes a ton of sense for the Denver Broncos there at number 10 overall. So to recap those last 5 picks, Dwayne Haskins, Drew Locke, Brian Burns, Ed Oliver, and Byron Murphy. And I will not be surprised, by the way, if one of those teams, namely the Giants, Jags, or Denver, trades up to go get Dwayne Haskins this year. All right, folks, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code LIVE120 for a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. Put down $100, they're going to give you $120. Put down $500, be a big baller, they'll give you $600 extra to bet with on BetDSI. But you got to use that promo code LIVE120, and you got to go to chatsports.com/bet. All right, moving along now in our NFL mock draft. Number 11, Jonah Williams. I thought about Devon White, but Williams kind of slid. I think someone will slide to that top 10. That's a really, really good player. In this case, it was Jonah Williams. Put him at left tackle, right tackle, whatever. The Bengals still need more help because the right tackle was a disaster. I know Giants fans hate Bobby Hart. He ended up starting for the Bengals pretty much all year long. All right, number 12, Ja'Kai Polite, the edge rusher out of Florida. Packers need some more help there. I think he'll be a good fit. He could even go top 10. Number 13, Daniel Jones, the quarterback from Duke. I do think a third guy rises, probably someone from the Senior Bowl, so likely either Daniel Jones, maybe Will Grier, but I'll put my money on Daniel Jones because he fits what the NFL likes. He played for David Cutcliffe. He's very smart. He's got the good size, got a strong arm. I don't see special. I think he can be a starter in the NFL, but I don't think he's going to be your dynamic franchise guy. I feel like if you take Daniel Jones, honestly, is he all that different from Ryan Tannehill in the end? I kind of think that's what Daniel Jones ends up being, but teams need a quarterback. He'll be cheaper than Tannehill, so it's not the worst case scenario there in the end for the Miami Dolphins. So I got Daniel Jones there at number 13. Now, quick question for you guys is, who will be the biggest bust in this year's draft class? Let me know in the comments section. I won't answer quite yet. I'll wait a little bit longer because there'll be someone who gets overdrafted. But let's not forget, fit really, really matters. It matters a lot more than we want to believe because talent in the end doesn't always win out. If you go to a bad situation, if you're a quarterback and you get 5 different coordinators in 4.5 years, you're probably not going to have much success. All right, number 14, Rashawn Gary, the defensive lineman out of Michigan. I expect he'll blow up the combine, and he better, because if he doesn't, what are you drafting him on? The production at Michigan was not there. Now, I think he's going to test really, really well, and I think in the end, the best fit for Rashawn Gary, go be a 3 technique. Go play on the inside, be disruptive from in there. I think that'd be a better fit in the end for Gary. The Falcons could use some more. I think they'll keep Grady Jarrett. Even if they do, they could use someone like Rashawn Gary, who could even potentially play that Michael Bennett type role in the Falcons' defensive scheme. So Rashawn Gary checks in at number 14. If he does not wow at the combine, he could be a big slider. Number 15, Deonte Thompson, who didn't have the best showing against Clemson and really wasn't as good as he was in the first half of the year, but he's still a good player. I like Thompson. I like what he brings to you as a true free safety. And the Redskins went from being really good at safety, I thought, with Clinton Dix and with DJ Swearinger, and then Swearinger got cut, and Clinton Dix was a disaster after being traded for. So safety, still a big need for the Redskins. All right, folks, again, get your NFL questions in the comments for our mailbag. At the end of the show, use hashtag NFL to have your questions featured. Anything NFL related that you guys want, rumors, news, draft, free agency, playoffs, just use that hashtag NFL. We'll get your comments featured. All right, moving along now. Greg Little at number 16. The Panthers have some decisions to make. I like Taylor Motton, but Darrell Williams is a free agent. Also a free agent, or also could be cut, is Matt Khalil. So you might have only one locked-in guy there. Also watch for an edge rusher here for Carolina at 16 if someone slides a bit. Number 17, this was tough for me. I really didn't have a great feel for where to go with the Browns. I went with DK Metcalf. Greg Little would be perfect for them, but he went one pick before that. I would like to get one more big-bodied wideout for the Browns at 17. DK's really talented. The only, or at least the major question mark, is that neck injury. If it checks out fine, this will be about his range. If not, he's going to be in for a slide. Speaking of the Browns, who, by the way, are in really good shape with not that many needs, Will they win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield? Type 1 for yes for at least one. Type 0 for no, they're not going to win any. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. All right, number 18, Cody Ford out of Oklahoma. The Vikings need some more offensive line help. Ford really rose in the past throughout the season, I should say, for Oklahoma. He'll be I think a right tackle. He could also play some guard in the NFL. Number 19, Jeffrey Simmons out of Mississippi State. Some off-the-field stuff teams will have to work through, but the Titans could use another interior pass rusher. Imagine Simmons and Casey together. Ooh, that's a fun 1-2 punch for Tennessee fans. At number 20, Devon White. And I'll be honest, look, Devon White's probably going to be a top 15 guy for me once I finalize my big board, if not a top 10 guy. But we typically see inside linebackers slide a little bit because the positional value just isn't there. If the Bengals don't take him, maybe the Packers do. I don't think the Dolphins will. I doubt the Falcons or the Redskins or the Panthers or the Browns or the Vikings or Tennessee take an inside linebacker. So all of a sudden, Devon White goes from possibly being a top 11, top 12 pick to he's going to go at number 20 or even later than that. So I like Devon White a lot. Has not declared yet, but I'm I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't end up doing so. He's not quite a Raekwon Smith type linebacker, but Devon White's a damn good player. I think he'll have a lot of success in the NFL. Today's show, folks, is brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code LIVE120 for a 120% deposit bonus. Put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. Put down $100, they're going to give you $120. Put down $500, they'll give you $600 to bet with. Extra bonus money there from BetDSI. But you got to use that promo code LIVE120 at chatsports.com/bet. All right, outside the top 20 now of my latest NFL mock draft. Yadni Kajus, the offensive just out of West Virginia. Seattle needs a new right tackle. Jermaine Ifedi is not good enough. Put in Yadni there, and they're in good shape. Number 22, the Baltimore Ravens. How about N'Keal Harry? And I know a lot of people are super high on Harry. I feel that there might be a disconnect from the casual fans or even just the outright fans in the NFL community. I don't think they're quite as high on Harry. I do think he'll go round one. The big concern for Harry, he's got to run at least decently at the combine. He is not a true burner. He's a long strider. If he runs well, he could move way up in my mock draft. Number 23, Jajuan Taylor. I am kind of surprised there's been so much first-round buzz from what I've heard around him, but the Texans really need an offensive lineman, so I think that makes sense for them. Number 24, Devin Bush to the Oakland Raiders. Oakland needs a dynamic inside linebacker, and Devin Bush is undersized, but he's the perfect fit in today's NFL. He's fast, he's rangy, he tackles pretty well. This is a good scheme fit, I think, as well for the Raiders and DC Paul Gunther. Give me Devin Bush. He's pretty stocky, got a good build on him for being 5'11". We'll see how he actually measures, but I think he'll test well at the NFL Combine. If he runs really, really well, he could slide up even further, and I think that could be the case there for Devin Bush. And if Devin White doesn't go pro, and Mack Wilson doesn't go pro, which is a real possibility, Devin Bush is going to be your #1 inside linebacker this year. So he checks in at number 24 for the Raiders there, who I think are going to be looking at that front set, really that entire defense, pretty often in this year's NFL draft. All right, folks, so when will the Raiders next make the NFL playoffs? How many years away are they? I will say 2020 at the absolute earliest. It's not going to be next year, but we've seen teams make a quick turnaround. Maybe Oakland can do something similar under John Gruden, now new GM Mike Mayock. Number 25, Christian Wilkins, one of my favorite people in this year's NFL draft class. Super intelligent, graduated Clemson in 2.5 years. His teammates love him. I think NFL teams, once they interview him, are also going to fall in love with him. This is going to be the guy that coaches pound the table for in the draft room to get him because they love this kid out of Clemson. Really good football player, too. No surprise, right? All right, folks, use hashtag NFL to have your questions featured on our upcoming mailbag. It'll be at the end of this mock draft. So, again, anything you want. Want news, rumors, coaching search, playoffs, draft stuff, just let me know in the comments section. All right, number 26, DeAndre Baker out of Georgia. I know he's a really talented college cornerback. He'll be good in the NFL, too. The big red flag here, obviously I think you guys know his strengths at this point, he's just a good cover corner, is speed. I am fearful this could end up being a Tease Tabor type situation, which I hope not because I love Tease Tabor. I just worry about that being the case for DeAndre Baker, but I do think he goes round one. Number 27, Noah Fant, the tight end out of Iowa. I love this kid. Don't look too much at the production. College teams, for the most part, can't actually use tight ends right. And I know the Raiders have Jared Cook, but he's a free agent. He might not be back. Maybe he wants to go play for a winner. But Noah Fant is that move athletic tight end. The Raiders don't just need a receiver. They need playmakers. And Noah Fant is that type of playmaker out of Nebraska. The reception's not that high. He's not the blocker that TJ Hawkinson is, per se. But he's a really athletic tight end. I think he'll wow at the combine. He's going to go round 1. The question for me is just where does he end up going? I would not be surprised if he goes inside the top 20, maybe even higher if he really, really measures well at the combine. Number 28, Dexter Lawrence out of Clemson. The Chargers need some more defensive line help. Why not get a big old run stuffer in there, Dexter Lawrence, who, by the way, can also rush the passer a bit. If you liked Vita Vea like I did, you'll like Dexter Lawrence too. But we do know that the guys that can't rush the passer as well tend to slide a little bit further in the NFL draft. All right, number 29, Montez Sweat. Let's give the Patriots some more edge rushers. Now, Sweat's going to be an interesting prospect because I don't think he's going to test that well, but his production was good. So it's a lesser version, I think, of Derek Barnett, who before he got hurt was doing quite well for the Philadelphia Eagles. At number 30, Raekwon Davis. And I thought he was going to have the Quinnen Williams year. Instead, ended up being the other guy, but he's still a good player in his own right. Big and tall, got a 6'7" type frame on him. He's going to be a good player. Assuming the Rams lose Ndamukong Suh and/or Michael Brockers, potentially, with Brockers being a cut if that's the route that they want to go, which I don't think they will. Davis then would be a good fit in LA and, keep investing in that defensive line alongside Aaron Donald. All right, number 31, Trayvon Mullen. By the way, the order is based on the current draft order, so don't yell at me about your playoff team not being high enough. Mullen, I saw him live at the championship game. I thought he was good. Now, there were still some things to be worked on, but he's got the size NFL teams like. Finally made some plays when it counted. That's a big sign for me. And the Chiefs need some more defensive back help. Number 32, my favorite sleeper prospect this year, Nasir Adderley out of Delaware. Won't be a sleeper when it's all said and done. I think he can play free safety. That's kind of the fit I have in there for the Packers. Can play some corner too. If you want a rangy guy, Adderley fits that mold. He can cover ground incredibly well. He did so at Delaware. And the covering the ground thing, that's not a competition. That's just speed and range abilities. He's going to be a good NFL player, even though he does come from Delaware. So who is your favorite sleeper this year that maybe we haven't discussed so far today? Let me know in the comments section. Mine's Adderley, which is not going to be a sleeper when we get to the end of the draft, so I'll have somebody new for you guys. But right now, Adderley's my dude. All right, folks, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code LIVE120 and get yourself a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. Put down $100, they'll give you $120. It's the best deal out there. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code LIVE120. All right, 3 picks that are out for the first round, but we know we got fans of the Cowboys, Saints, and Bears, so we got you guys covered. Cowboys, Gerald Willis from the Miami Hurricanes defensive lineman. All kinds of off-the-field issues before this year, and then finally broke out. Now, that might drop him down a little bit, but if you want a DT in a great class and want to wait, Gerald Willis might be your guy. Number 64, the Saints. How about another quarterback for that depth chart, which they can go a bunch of different ways there. How about Chris Boyd, who I like a little bit up and down, but has a lot of the traits I want. And then finally, the Bears, number 88. Look, we are just throwing names at a dartboard for this one, I'll be honest with you guys. Caleb McGarry out of Washington. Bobby Massey's a free agent. Maybe they lose him. If so, McGarry could step in at right tackle. All right, folks, grade my mock drafts. A, B, C, D, or dude, you suck. And remember, it's not a mock draft until someone calls it the worst one ever. So I will not take it personally if you type in dude, you suck. I think it'd actually be kind of funny. Well, let me know what you guys think there in the comments section.